Pursuant to Governor Abbott's temporary suspension of open meetings laws issued on March 16, 2020, this regular board meeting of the West ISD Board of Trustees will be conducted via video conference and telephone call. The video conference will be audible to the board and public and allow for two-way communication. The Board of Trustees will not be physically present at one location, but a quorum will be required for the meeting on the video conference or phone. The recording of the meetings will be available on the West ISD website under Board, Archived, Meetings, and Agenda. The public may have access to this meeting at the Zoom link, which is located at the West ISD website at www.westisd.net. The meeting ID is 843-0584-2929, and the password is 058102. The phone number is 1-346-248-7799. The same meeting ID and password may be needed. The Zoom meeting link is also provided on the West ISD website at www.westisd.net under the calendar section of the website. An electronic copy of the agenda may be viewed at the following link. This link is located to the West ISD website at www.westisd.net. Any public comments must be submitted between 8 a.m. on Monday, May the 11th and 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May the 12th, 2020 by emailing the comments to publiccomment@westisd.net. All public comments shall be submitted to this email address and will be read to the Board of Trustees for consideration. I now call this meeting to order and verify that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This time, I would ask you to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the prayer, both led by Reverend John Crowder.
Hold on a second, Dr. Crowder, you were on mute, and for everyone, the flag's in my window.
All right, we'll go again. Ready here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, we do want to thank you for our time together. We thank you for the opportunity and the technology that allows us to continue to meet. We pray that you would bless this meeting, give us wisdom, and give us the opportunity to understand one another, communicate clearly, openly, and honestly. Help us to deal with all the issues that need to be dealt with. And when all is said and done, we pray that the decisions we make would be in accordance with your will and would fit squarely within your plan. We ask your blessings on those who lead our district and their families. We pray for it all for your glory, and in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much. This time is our recognition portion of the agenda. I'll turn it over to Mr. Truitt.
You listen.
All right, thank you. As you know, each month, this is my favorite section of the agenda. But on 5A, I've got some sad news for you. I was prepared tonight to announce our Teachers of the Year, Support Staff of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Second Miler. But we have not gone by for our surprise home visits because the plaques, flowers, and their yard signs, everything wasn't in, but we're going by tomorrow and Friday. So it's still a surprise, and we don't want to announce their names tonight, but I'll email all of you the information, including the pictures and everything after we complete those visits. All 5 honorees are fantastic educators and true servants, and I know you're going to be quite impressed with who our staff nominated and voted for these awards. But for 5B, our Teen School Board class of 2020 members, every year I recognize our seniors as they graduate, and I have plaques that I'm going to take by their homes just as a way of saying thank you. Boyd and Hallie served all 40 years of high school, and Hallie even was president of the Teen School Board. Both loyal members did outstanding work as as officers and members, and helped me out a lot with all the different decisions I asked the student body to assist me with as far as ways to help and improve our district. So thank you to Hallie and Boyd on that news. And I also wanted to announce that for the 4th year in a row, we received the national honor from the NAM Foundation for outstanding music community. And I think you'll all agree that's a well-deserved and earned honor. And I cannot thank our music teachers enough for their dedication and love for the arts and all they do with working with our kids. So I'm working on a West News article and posting on that great news. And so just something else to celebrate in regards to the great things happening in West. Thank you.
All right. Very good. That brings us to our agenda portion of, or audience portion of the agenda. Amanda, do we have anyone who's requested to speak?
No, sir.
All right. Very good. That now brings us to agenda item number 7, which is the consent agenda, and it is an action item you've had the opportunity to look over for the past few days. If there are no questions that have been presented, the floor is open for a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented in your packet.
So moved.
Okay, Kenny made the motion to accept. Is there a second?
Second.
Mike Garrett, second. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda, please show of hands or voice. All those opposed, same sign.
Point of order, Dr. Sparks.
Yes,
Looks
sir.
like we lost Lee. We lost Miss Crawshaw.
Oh,
We need to hold on a second if you don't mind,
Yeah.
sir. I don't see her at all, so we must have lost her connection. So Amanda, is she in the waiting area?
No, not currently. I'm watching it.
All right, well, we just need to hold on a minute, Dr. Sparks, if you don't mind. Let me text and see if she's all right.
Amanda, do you need to do my mic? Do you need to lock my mic? Shut it off.
David, do you know, or Amanda, was Lee present by her phone or was it her computer link? Do you,
Dr. Sparks,
pardon?
it was her computer.
Computer, okay.
I just texted her to see if she's okay. So for our guests, we're just gonna hold on a minute. Hello to the teachers. I love seeing y'all on here. Oh, I wonder why Matt Biles is here. Great to see y'all. Nothing back from Miss Crawshaw just yet. Oh, there she comes. Lost her service. Needs a minute, so we'll just keep holding till she comes back on. Cassie and Yasmin, I like your pictures. Those are lovely. Thank y'all. I need to add a picture to mine. That'd be cool. Maybe Luke Skywalker, Yoda. Dr. Sparks, do you have some jokes for us?
No, actually, I have a serious thing, but I don't have it in front of me. I was going through all my magazines and stuff that I had from years and years ago, and I ran across a 1974 National Geographic. So I was a senior in high school. And on the back cover, it's, Atlantic Richfield Oil Company and stuff. And it's interesting, some of the questions they proposed are identical to some of the questions that are being asked right now. And if I had that copy of it, I didn't think about it till now, till we kind of got sidetracked, I would read those two, and you think, there's no way in the world that was from however long ago that was, 46 years ago. Yeah. So, yeah. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can get somebody to go get it. It's very interesting.
I asked, so let's see what he's got. I think Mr. Yannick's playing Fortnite or something on his Switch. What you doing there?
Is Lee here yet?
No, sir.
Okay. Again, this is 1974, July 1974, National Geographic. And this is an ad for Atlantic Richfield Company on the back side of it. Not making this up. It goes, our election laws and traditions reflect the country as it was decades ago. The time has come to ask some basic questions. This is 46 years ago. Question number one, how long should an elected official serve? Is there still a need for the Electoral College? Should taxpayers foot the bill for election campaigns? Does our present system truly provide one vote for each person? And is our political structure so big that our officials are too far from those who elect them? I thought it was pretty interesting. 46 years ago.
I think Mike wants to speak.
I want to show y'all something. My wife is going to take the boys to the drive-through at St. Mary's graduation. So they made this for the graduates. See if you can see that. They're going to hang it on. They're going to hang it on the truck and ride through the parking lot.
So your wife made that?
Yeah, she just got done.
It's lovely. Very nice.
Talents from her being a West High School cheerleader, I guess.
And that was the 8th graders?
For that are graduating from St. Mary's this evening.
Yes, sir. And good news, all 6 of those kiddos are coming to West High School, by the way. Oh, this might be Lee on the phone number, Amanda. Is this Lee down here?
Me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Can you
we
hear
can.
me? Okay. I don't know. I've lost all other connection somehow.
Okay.
We're just glad you're back, so we'll just make sure we're counting your vote right since we can't see you.
Okay. Have we done anything since I'm taking the minutes?
Okay, let's back up. We're on the consent agenda, Lee, action item number
Okay.
7. And the floor is open for a motion. I believe, was it Kenny that you made the motion to accept the consent agenda? Kenny made the motion to accept the consent agenda. Mike, did you second it? Yeah, and Mike seconded it. All those who are in favor, by show of hands, it was unanimous, except you, we can't see you, so.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And all those opposed were same sign, and there were no opposition.
Okay.
All right. All right, Lee, we're now on agenda item number 8, which is a report, the West ISD COVID-19 response plan updates. Do it.
Thank you. Like last time, I'd like to share a few updates of our work and some information from the Texas Education Agency. And like last month, Mrs. Adams is going to do a portion of this as well. And it's kind of a combo with number 9, where Mr. Clander is going to share graduation updates. You our comprehensive end of the year plan as an attachment, board members, and also sent you the graduation guidelines that were just updated with the news from last week from Commissioner Morath. Just as a reminder to everyone, of course, school has been suspended through the end of the year, Wednesday, May 20th. A big thing that we're hearing from Morath that we're preparing for in the last 2 webinars that he has hosted for superintendents across Texas have been all about this adjusting of the 2020-2021 school calendar, or what he's calling an intersessional calendar. What it really means and what he's talking to us about is trying to figure out a way to add 30 more calendar days to the instructional calendar. Right now, it's just an idea for our teachers tuned in tonight. That doesn't mean we're approving a new calendar anytime soon. We're just studying options and looking through some of the information he's giving us on some ways to curb some of the learning droughts that could have occurred over the last 10 weeks, including going into summer without having face-to-face summer school and some other things that we usually have in place. And of course, their main concern is, will the school shut down or days be missed with the return of COVID-19 at some point or multiple points next school year. So I guess the best way to explain what Morath is doing, he's trying to be proactive rather than reactive. And since our school year is defined by our calendars and our instructional days and our ability to do makeup days, he would like for us to have a plan in place. And so he's talking about an early start and then going through June. So any calendar he's putting out there for review has us starting the first week in August and ending the 3rd week in June. And also the calendar includes 3 breaks in the school year that either can be breaks or could be used for missed school days. And so it's an interesting concept and looks a lot like a year-round school calendar where really you only have July off, and then you have 3-week chunks at 3 different segments in the school year. So that's really what he's putting out there for us to look at. So I just wanted you to know that at the June board meeting, once we meet with him a few more times and see what our different options are, I'm going to bring you some ideas for us to look at. I like to think of it as backup plans, and he really has presented 3 options for school districts to consider. And this intersessional calendar is probably the most radical and biggest change in thinking of the 3. And so obviously we're going to bring ideas and solutions for everything he's presenting just for a discussion so that we have backup plans in place. You know, I love for my contingency plans to have contingency plans. So think of this as another piece of how we're looking to 2021 and how we can best meet the needs of our kids. Also, with the state waivers, I wanted to give an update that you previously approved the missed school day waiver, and then we had the instructional continuity attestation while closed piece that I had to sign. So there were really 2 pieces to that waiver. You've done the attendance, you've done the educator and administrator appraisal. And remember, I extended that grace to all employees and not just teachers and administrators. And then there's one more tonight, a resolution on grading and class rank and GPA that we need to approve. But I know the commissioner's sending out a lot on these waivers because they're due when school ends on the 20th, when we can submit all those things at the conclusion of the school year. So you're going to hear more about that. So I just wanted you to know we already took care of them, and the last one is tonight. As a reminder, we're continuing with our 3 big roles with the news. Wednesday, May 20th being the last day and coming fast, and is still being out of school, out of the school buildings, I should say. Our home learning plan is in its last week. This Friday is the last activity, and we're really working hard on getting late and missing work from the kids. I saw a number of teachers, in particular from the high school, who were delivering senior yard signs, and right now their biggest thing they're working on is tracking down kids and work and making sure that we've had communication with them to see what we can do to ensure that we have a successful last grading period. I also want to make sure you knew that the MCC dual credit work is done, and right now our administrators are working on the graduation, retention, promotion committee pieces, make sure we have everything in place for the next school year. So in addition to home learning, meal bags still going strong. I've calculated that Kathy Garrick and her fabulous child nutrition ladies have served, and maybe I should have started with planned and organized and served almost 30,000 meals over the last 10 weeks. And if you think about when we started this journey, the first thing we put in place was the breakfast lunches. And so these ladies have been going 10 strong weeks, and even going to finish next week strong with another round. So I can't thank them enough. And then I always add the dispensers of hope and joy as the third thing. We're doing our best to recreate all of our end of the year events and awards, not just for our students, but our staff as well. Like I mentioned with the teacher, the visits and things that are coming up. We had a fabulous Teacher Appreciation Week where we went local on all kinds of goodies for our staff. They were able to get something good to eat or drink. Really a celebration of some of our best places here in West. And each day they were able to go and cash it in. And really, that's not over. They can cash in any of those special treats through the summer. So we had a great time doing that remotely and virtually, making sure that our folks knew we loved and appreciated them. We're still doing Students of the Month. We're still communicating in 5 different ways with all the news that's out there. Our YouTube channel is becoming very popular. As year, our principals can attest that we've scheduled 19 video sessions and then posting every night. And of course, it started a week ago. The different virtual award ceremonies and celebrations for our folks to watch. We've got big ones even still to come with Senior Baccalaureate and their scholarship night, and Mrs. Cosda has a different goal going every night this week, and Mr. Clander has events going as well. Well received. I will admit that we had a couple situations with some kids that were missed, and we're correcting videos and sending out apologies the best we can. And we're just wanting to make sure that our traditional award ceremonies have been recreated in the best way possible. Obviously, graduation is a biggie, and I mentioned earlier that Mr. Clander's going to mention that along with the parade that's coming up. But I wanted to make sure you also knew that on those YouTube videos, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Jason Dalrymple. We've asked a lot of staff members to come up for these different videos, but the one constant is he's been asked to film all 19 videos and put them together and post them. And so this guy has done an amazing amount of work for us over the last few weeks, because that's a huge undertaking, because I know some of those videos have taken him hours to make. So we can't thank him enough for that. We're still going strong on new hires, even with the Zoom pieces and things I've emailed you about. We're in the middle of course selection, master schedule work, class lists at the elementary. Mr. McKeska is rolling out the budget workshops. This is a big time to consolidate grades with our last report card with school ending next Wednesday, and Ms. Adams is working on making sure everybody has that plan and making sure they're abiding by our COVID-19 plan grading guidelines. Ms. Linka and the high school staff are getting transcripts done. As you know, we've already announced Val and Sal top 10. We know the top 25 for Hazel Montgomery. And so we're rocking and rolling with all those accolades that will be mentioned at graduation. We've got student and staff checkout next week. The state provided guidelines that we must follow, similar to the graduation 6 feet and entry and exit and the size of those groups. And so we have set times for grade levels all across the district. So we have a lot going on. Before I kick it over to Amanda, I asked her to share about our summer programs, because as you can imagine, that's going to be a challenge, but we're up for it with a virtual plan. She's also going to share about the teacher incentive allotment grant, which we haven't talked about in a little while, and that due date's coming, so I wanted her to share an update tonight. And then there's some board adopted plans and goals for early childhood and college and career military readiness that will be due this summer, and I wanted her to share updates on those. But before she mutes me and unmutes herself, I just really want to thank our staff, and I see a number of them on our Zoom tonight. We've asked them to deliver and prepare meal bags, pick up all kinds of hard copies of works, provide library books, school supplies. They've been crafting home activities in all content areas and all subjects, whether it was in Schoology or on Google Docs for 10 weeks. We've asked them to come up for video ceremonies, to be recorded, to cheer on their kids. They've been asked to do Zoom hiring committees. They've probably done hundreds upon hundreds of Zooms or Google Hangouts for their kids and staff meetings with Amanda or me. And they did it all willingly and with a smile on their face, because they're here for the kids of West. And I talk so much about folks going the second mile, and I just couldn't let tonight pass without saying thank you to all of our staff for going to the second mile for our kids during this most troubling of times. So thank you to our staff. They've done a wonderful job. So I'm going to turn it over to Amanda for those 3 topics. Biggies, you'll probably have questions about some of the things she's going to present tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Truitt. I reiterate your sentiments to our faculty and staff. They've been amazing. I would like to start with our summer school plan, which honestly is still evolving as we get more information from TEA, as well as work through this plan. As Mr. Truitt said, this will be a virtual summer school. And so we've had to rethink what that would look like. We would love to offer a 2-fold plan for elementary and middle school students, whereas because of the students being out of school for 10 weeks, we would like to offer some enrichment where we would work with our teachers to select students who may be struggling on their reading level or their math, their comprehension and their numeracy, and then offer some live teach virtual sessions through some of our already purchased programs like our FNPL live kits and things like that. So we're working through some exciting opportunities for our kids and hoping to be able to offer those virtually, as well as we want to offer course recovery for any students who need that. Virtually, we want to rely on the TEA summer home learning packets to help us with that, and have teachers be available to tutor and do Google Hangouts for students who would need those. We would like to continue to offer that during the whole month of June, so beginning on June 1st and ending on June 26th, and really expanding this program. As you guys know, in the past several years, we've only focused on STAR grades and SSI, as well as EOC and credit recovery at high school, but expanding this to pre-K 8, especially in reading and in math for those grades, and offering that to any student that the teacher recommends was struggling either before or has had a dip in reading level or math numeracy over this period of time. So that continues to evolve. At high school, we'll continue to offer credit recovery in our most needed courses of English 1, 2, 3, and also in Algebra 1 and 2. We will have a biology course as well. We'll lean on our Edgenuity program, which is an online program, but have teachers that are certified in those courses to be able to live tutor through virtual online hangouts like we're doing now, available daily, and walk them through any issues they may be having in order to recover that credit. And so we're looking at getting that within the same time frame. We do already have several teacher volunteers and are continuing to work with those people and look for more specific need areas as we move forward and get final information from teachers on what groups of students will need those. So that's continuing to evolve, but getting some pretty solid plans there. Moving to the teacher incentive allotment. The teacher incentive allotment we have spoken about in the past, and it's an opportunity for our teachers to earn quite a large sum of money in addition to their already approved salary. What happens is the state will allow us to look at teacher performance as well as student performance and create a system, a rubric that leans on our T-tests as well as our STAR scores and other pre and post tests, and award them a designation that will follow them no matter where they go for 5 years. There are levels, and then within those levels, because West was designated in this system as a rural school, a teacher could earn up to $32,000 extra per year, which is a huge number. It's a huge number and a great opportunity for our teachers. And so because of that, we, after talking to you, board, and making some calls and working with TA, we decided to go with the current cohort, the cohort C. Our application is actually due this Friday. And so we've done some pre-work, and then yesterday the administration team came up and really we worked all day on this and have the application ready for Mr. Truitt to review and submit. The timeline for that is a little bit extended. TA will not give us an answer on whether our application was basically filled out properly until August. And then following that, we will have a data review period where we'll submit information to the state all the way through November of 21. And so it is extended. We'll get our final approval in February of 22, and then funds will be released to us in September of 22. So it is an extended application process and data gathering process, but we wanted to get on the very quickest path, which is the cohort that the application is due this Friday. And so I really appreciate, I know some of our administrators are on tonight, I really appreciate all your help yesterday and throughout the time that we've been working on this, and we will be able to submit that application this Friday. David also asked me to speak about the...
Amanda,
Yes.
how much did you say the maximum is that they can earn?
$32,000.
Per year?
Yes.
Per teacher?
Per master teacher. Master teacher designation, yes. Per teacher.
32,000, not 3,200.
Correct. It's a large
Wow.
company.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so we'll continue to update you as we get more information from TA on that. I also would like to talk to you briefly about the early childhood plan and the CCMR plan. You may have received information or seen information TA's put out about both of those plans. Due to the situation that we're all in at this point, the TA has extended the deadline for that until the actual deadline is prior to the first day of instruction for next year. So our goal is to bring to you those plans in July for approval. We're working with the committee. The early childhood plan focuses on a lot of information, not as you might think, just pre-K1. It also extends to third grade and talks about how we are making sure that we ensure growth in those third grade students all the way down. Do we have a viable curriculum? How are we supporting that in all core areas? And so we'll work with a teacher group, a committee, to finalize that plan and then bring it to you for review and approval. And then as well as the CCMR plan, that is highly zoned into the high school and making sure that we are able to raise our CCMR readiness growth goal and making sure the opportunities are there for our students to get industry-based certifications as well as any other licensure that we can get them in those CTE pathways. So that CCMR plan, we began that right before spring break with our high school team. So it is underway and we'll continue to finish that and bring that to you as well to review in July. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to take those.
Any questions for Amanda? If not, thank you so very much, Amanda. All right, that brings us to agenda item number 9, which is also a report. The class of 2020 graduation ceremony updates. Mr. Truitt?
Mr. Clander and I visited earlier. Since I authored the guidelines I sent you, I want Mr. Clander to share kind of an overview, and of course we can take questions together. It's his baby. He's excited. Look at that smile on his face. And so I'm just thrilled that we're going to have an in-person outdoor graduation at Trojan Field, and that we've been able to invite the number of guests for each graduate as we are able to put into our guidelines. So take it away, Chuck. Go Seniors.
You know, as we looked at this and we put out the survey to the parents, we sent it out to all of the senior kids' parents. 61 of the 77 parents that responded back were positive in us having this face-to-face, moving that date up to May the 30th, which we thought was really good. As we look at this, we talk about it in terms of giving tickets again, because we do have to keep that minimum and maximum numbers and so forth. So we've got it set up between seating on the turf as well as seating in the bleachers. I know Mr. Truitt and Brian Renninger went out and tape measured everything off to make sure the numbers would be accurate. So we look like we could put 8 family members from each of those graduates there in the stadium, having groups of 5 as well as groups of 3. So we keep that social distancing and following all of those TA guidelines. Some of the things that we're going to have to really work diligently with our parents on is, you know, as they come in, they've got to come in those small groups. There's some medical questions they're going to have to answer. We've got some of our district medical personnel, and I believe Mr. Bola is contacting some of the West EMS folks to help us with getting temperatures taken of everybody, and, you know, just following those general medical guidelines that TA set forth for us. Tickets will be available for families to pick up on Friday the 22nd as well as Tuesday the 26th. And again, those will be 8 per household. So that'll be something that everybody has an opportunity. Seating as we come in, we will have seating set up as those families come in alphabetically, so not everybody shows up at one time. And that'll be another way that we can kind of control that social distancing aspect of it. So we'll start our seating process at 6:30 that evening, and then we'll break it down alphabetically from that point on all the way up to 7:30, where we may not have a processional with the students coming in because of their social distance issues that we've got to make sure we maintain. And they'll all come in with the families and then assume their designated seating areas. So that's kind of in a nutshell of what it is. I've talked to a number of parents this last week as they've had questions, they've emailed and called, and they were all really excited of nothing else being able to do a face-to-face graduation. So that is a huge plus for us. Being able to celebrate the kids, still have all of their speeches, and being able to also have it videoed and sent out in a live streaming. Mr. Dalrymple, as Mr. Truitt mentioned earlier, he's going to be running our cameras. So that'll be a live stream opportunity for families that may not fit in with that 8 ticket number to still see this really important event in their kids' lives. So that's kind of in a nutshell there. Does anybody have any questions for us on this? Okay. And I want to say this before we go. We went today and started giving out the senior signs to kids. Every senior has a sign. Mr. Truitt has an example of it there. And you talk about kids' faces lighting up and families' faces lighting up. We'd ask our teachers. They all signed up. I think we had almost 20 teachers plus our administrative team going out. And I know I drove about 200 miles today distributing signs. But the kids loved it. The parents loved it. So it was really something that was special for all of our kids. And again, it's just one of those things we're trying to do to make sure that we celebrate the kids. Even though they lost some of the traditional things, we're coming up with those new methods to show how much we are appreciative of all of their hard work. So just a couple of kudos for that.
Chuck, before you sign off and stuff, would you speak a little bit about the parade? Is that what are the details of that on May 23rd?
You know, we Mr. Truitt and I went and met with Chief Barton this last week. We've got the route set up, and Mr. Truitt, you may have to chime in exactly what that route is. I don't remember the exact route, but we will have it where the kids will come in. We'll meet at the high school. There'll be one student. They have their families in the vehicle with them. We'll have signage for some of those kids so that they can kind of decorate their cars, kind of following a path. And it's not exactly like the West Fest path, but it'll be something that is fairly similar. We're going to hit a couple of the main roads, and then we'll finish off back at the high school. So it'll be an opportunity again for people to come out to see the kids. They can be in their vehicles. They can be in their front yards, things like that. So it's going to go at 2 o'clock. It'll be purely a voluntary thing for those kids that are kind of taking that original time for graduation and then having them be able to kind of put themselves in a showcase area.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are we making sure everybody has a vehicle that they can beg, borrow, or whatever so that if they want to participate, they can?
Yes, ma'am. We'll make sure those kids, if they don't have a vehicle, with some of our administrative staff and things like that, we can help provide that transportation method for them.
Very good.
Ms. Croshaw, we've been setting up some folks in the community to help with that as well. The only way I could imagine we don't know is if a student hadn't reached out to us, but we'll keep doing that. We had a great survey question or turnout, excuse me, on this very topic. Out of 101, only 8 are not going to take part in the parade, which is a great number. And then out of those figures, we had less than a dozen that had questions about needing a vehicle of some sort that they could sit in, a style they could be seen and not sitting in the back seat with, of a sedan. So we're helping and taking care of that. So thank you for asking that question. We're also going to provide the signs on the side of the vehicles with their names and even some accolades if they're the Val or Sal and so on. So really we're asking them just to make sure they have a vehicle and decorate it if they want to, and to be at the high school at 1:30 on the 23rd. Our route, since Chuck mentioned that, will go from the high school down Main to Tokyo by the ball fields there, and we'll come all the way back down Reagan to Grady Calvary, and then back to the high school. So we're doing all the way down Main and all the way down Reagan. There's a lot of places for community members and families to park on those roads and to be a part of the fun. And I'll have all the guidelines for the parade for the community in next week's West News, which I think will help, including the parade route will be mapped out for them. So we're excited. I kind of want to see this parade be a new tradition. I think it's a fabulous event for the community. So I hope it goes well, and the kids are genuinely excited about this opportunity to take part in it. So, go parade. It's going to be awesome.
Are we looking, sorry.
Go ahead, Ms. Croshaw.
Are we looking at getting it videoed from drone?
For the rest of the board, Lee and I had a conversation and email about this, and yes, ma'am, yes, we are. And we'll have police and EMS and fire escort too. So it's going to be quite the show. It's going to be fun afternoon.
Wonderful.
I was just going to let everyone on the board know as well. We've also have some picture opportunities for our seniors. We've got a sign up going with them right now to do some digital pictures on the 21st and 22nd, where a gentleman by the name of Willie Gomez will come in. He'll take a digital photo of the students. They will use that to digitalize them into one large group photo, since they missed that photo opportunity this year. We'll also be able to have group photos of the top 10 students and any students that were K-12 West ISD students. We'll then take a second photo with them with a diploma cover, since we're not able to do some of those things. We originally talked about maybe having Dr. Sparks come and take pictures with the kids and doing some of that, but since we're not able to do that, so we'll have 2 picture opportunities for families to look at, and there'll be some packages that they can have quality photos taken, and we'll do that all this next Thursday and Friday in the school. We've got kids set up for 5-minute intervals. That's how long the photographers feel like it'll take them to take these photos. So kids are signing up, and they come in one at a time, so we still keep our social distance aspects for that.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions?
We'll answer anything.
All right, well, let's move on then to agenda item number 10, which is an action item. It's consideration and possible action by the board to approve the proclamation 2020 grades 9 through 12 English, Language Arts, and Reading Adoption Committee. Amanda, I believe you're going to present that.
Yes, sir. I believe you have the board members. I believe you have the document in front of you. The committee consists of all of the teachers that teach English 1 through 4 at West ISD.
Okay. Are there any questions? If not, the floor is open for a motion to accept, to act upon agenda item number 10 as presented and as you have in your packet. Is there a motion? John Crowder made the motion. Is there a second? Mike Garrick seconds. All those in favor, please show of hands. Lee, I know you can't see that, but there's 7 and whatever you're voting, please acknowledge. Lee, can you hear me?
I'm for it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Agenda item number 11 is an action item. It's consideration and possible action by the board to approve the proclamation 2020 grades 9 through 12 English Arts, Language Arts, and Reading Adoption Choice. And Amanda, I guess you're doing that also, number 11.
Yes, sir. The committee each submitted rubrics over all of the available choices put out by the state. And after reviewing those rubrics, they have chosen to go with HMH Into Literature Texas Hybrid Classroom Package, which includes both print and digital copies for English 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All right, great. Does anyone have any questions for Amanda before I call for a motion? If not, the floor is open for a motion to address agenda item number 11 as presented. Holly has made the motion. Is there a second? I'm looking. Mike Garrick has seconded it. All those in favor, please show of hands and say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Lee. We did that for your benefit since we can't see you. Okay. That brings us to agenda item number 12, which is an action item also. It's consideration possible action by the board to approve the Texas Education Agency's TEKS certification. Amanda, tell us about that.
Yes, sir. This is the annual certification for the instructional materials and TEKS certification. It is an assurance that we are using technology and instructional materials allotment funds for only allowable expenses, that we are using and buying materials, instructional materials that cover all elements of the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, and that upon request, we would provide the State Board of Education the title of the publication we're using for those. And so at this time, I'm asking for approval so that we may submit that we are doing all 3 of those things for the state.
All right. Does any board member have a question for Amanda as far as clarification goes? If not, I will call for a motion to address agenda item number 12 as presented by Amanda. Is anyone, okay, Kenny Secor has made the motion. Holly has seconded. All those in favor, please show of hands and by voice. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right. Thank you. 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Agenda item number 13 is also an action item. It's a consideration of possible action by the board to approve the COVID-19 related board resolution for modification of policies and procedures on grading, class rank, GPA, and other related issues. Mr. Truitt will present that to us.
Thank you. It's in your agenda, just past the information Amanda just presented. It's the page right after the TEKS certification. This resolution really has 4 points to it, and I wanted to make sure you understood all 4 points. We're doing the resolution because we don't want to change our EIC and EIA and EIE local policies long term. We only want to do the resolution for right now, right, because of the COVID-19 10-week plan that we have in place. So the first point of the resolution deals with our senior class. And when we calculated class rank and GPA for them, we made the decision after much debate to include their 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade years and stop the 12th grade calculation at Christmas or after the first 2 9-week grading periods. Just so you know, that was a well-researched decision. We ran everything, including at the 3rd 9-week break before spring break, and the least amount of changes and impact on our seniors. And in this case, this was a decision about the best interest of our kids. We decided to stop at Christmas. I want you to know that the Val and Sal did not change in either scenario. Was good news. Number 3 didn't become number 2. We didn't have an effect in any way. So it was clean, easy to explain, easy to calculate, and we're able to help the kids with that decision. Now, for the 9th through 11th graders, I want to make clear that our plan of doing 12 grades for 6 weeks in the courses and continuing on, we wanted to make sure that you were aware that for those classes coming up, all 4 years will count, just to make that clear. And I also wanted to make clear in this resolution that this last grading period is not 9 weeks, it's 6. All right, so just wanted to make that clear that the first 3 weeks when we were still getting our feet under us with doing the home learning, we hadn't made the transition at the high school to Schoology. Really the only thing going strong at that point was still the dual credit courses, which we're so thankful for those instructors and their hard work. So I wanted to make sure you understand that we had to adapt our grading plan for this last grading period. Another piece of that is there are no exam grades for the spring semester. All right, so I want to make sure you understood that as well. And so we had to calculate according to the resolution for semester exams because there was no way to do those. And then finally, the last piece of the resolution is, as you know, our pre-kindergarten and kindergarten teachers have a standards-based report card system, but at grades 1 through 8, as a reminder, our goal was to keep the kids engaged and to ensure that they were returning work, that we were monitoring their progress on the work and checking for accuracy and completion. And now we're putting that into the report card piece, but since it was different than the 12 grades at the high school level, I wanted to make sure that was in the resolution as well. So I think the best way I can sum up those 5 points is it's what's best for kids, or what we believe is best for kids during this tough home learning piece. Our parents have been great partners in this. Our teachers are great detectives right now in tracking down kids and work. Amanda has a plan for incompletes and some deadlines where kids could still submit things past next Wednesday, just to make sure that we give them the benefit of the doubt during a very challenging time. So tonight I'm seeking your approval of this resolution, and again, it goes away for next August, and we're back to our regular policy in all areas.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Are there
Can I
any
ask
questions?
a question?
You bet.
Yes.
How many kids did we wind up not being able to track, get responses from, engage, whatever the verbiage you want to use?
I don't have that exact figure ready for you, Lee. It's surprisingly less than we thought. I know how many it is at the senior class level. I know we've got 6 we're still working with because we had that conversation today. It's by teacher, and I don't have those tables in front of me. Amanda remembers the roundabout number by grade level. I do know this, Amanda, it's less, or excuse me, Lee, it's less at elementary, and then as you move to middle school, it becomes a little more, and then high school a little more. The seniors, because of graduation, it's a different beast, and they know they've got to get their course credits done before the 30th. But I can get you those figures. We have Google Docs with all that stuff in it. We have to submit to the state a 3-tiered system of level of engagement of the kids that the teachers are working on right now. So I'll be able to tell you by the end of school teacher by student at every grade level how we did. But keep in mind, we're not stopping. We're still working with them through the summer through the plan Amanda mentioned earlier.
That'd be great. And how are we tracking them? I mean, not tracking them, trying to contact them. Was it, did we make some home visits? How did we, tell me?
Home visits, electronically, of course, was the first try, telephones, but we're on home visits now. Some were made today, for example. If we haven't heard from a child, we're trying to travel where we think they might be and where we're hearing they might be. So that's now where we are, is going to find them in person.
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
I want to pay a compliment to our staff. You know, I've seen some social media posts from other districts about teachers reading to kids in yards of their students and knocking on their doors and checking on them. I want you guys to know, meaning the board, that our staff were doing all those things that you've been seeing and reading about. I know I went through a list earlier and trying to pay them a compliment for all their hard work. They're going where the kids are, and we've got teachers doing lessons on front porches. I mean, I saw a post just this week about Veronica Glockner going to a home to do math lessons. I mean, our teachers are doing whatever it takes to meet the kids where they are. And I mean, I'm just amazed. We have an incredible staff. So no stone unturned would be my answer to that question, Ms. Crawshaw, and we're going to keep looking for them.
Awesome. That's why West is best.
Amen.
All right, any other questions from Mr. Truitt before I call for a motion? If not, the floor is open for a motion to address agenda item number 13 as presented. Who's going to be the first to make a motion? Oh, Jason Yannick has made the motion. It's been seconded by Kenny Secor. All those in favor, show of hand, and by voice acclamation. Aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. 7-0. Thank you very much. At this time, it is 7:27. We'll adjourn into closed executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551071, 551129, 551074, and 551072. We'll see you in just a few minutes.